Hello. I'm kind of going into this with no plan, but I just realized that I haven't made a video since this weekend's fight night. And that's significant because we've got some moves happening in the welterweight division here. So, welcome back. We're going to have a yap, a quick one, because I have no plan, no notes. I'm just going to word vomit. But yes, welterweight division. It's kind of crazy because it feels like only last week. Was it last week? No. What am I talking about? See, this is what happens when you have no notes. But it does feel like UFC 314, which was a month ago or a few weeks ago, that the conversation was mainly revolved around the featherweight division with, Gian Silva, Bryce Mitchell, Volk. They were all fighting. And then now it seems like welterweight is the new division of interest, especially after now we have a new champ in JDM. Islam Makhachev is moving up. And then just this weekend, Burns and Michael Morales had a little punch on, though it wasn't much of a back and forth because Morales kept his O and is still undefeated, getting that round 1 knockout. So amazing stuff. I also just think that it's a really big conversation to be having because it seems this year there's been a really big conversation around undefeated fighters losing their O. I don't even know if it was this year, but like Peyton Talbot, and then you got Tatiana Suarez, Shara Magomedov. There's quite a few. Can't think of any more at the top of my head. Again, no notes. People are going to be like, you shouldn't make a YouTube video if you don't have any plan. This is what yapping is all about, guys. You can click off. But yeah, Michael Morales, he does seem to be that guy, and it just seems so effortless in the way that he was finishing Burns, who, Burns is in a bit of a weird spot just because he was on that losing streak, but I think a lot of us weren't blinded necessarily, but everyone loves Gilbert Burns, I think. He's quite a likable guy. There's no real reason that you shouldn't like him. It's okay, you might not like his fighting style or whatever, but as a fighter himself, he's a nice guy, or so it seems, right? And the losses that he's had have been against beasts, Usman, JDM, Khamzat Chimaev, and they've been all decisions, I believe. So he's had quite a good scrap. And people are like, you can't overlook this guy just because he's older. The guys that he's lost to were those guys at the time. So, and still are. But, Michael Morales, he is undefeated, and now he's got a name like Burns on his resume. That's going to be a very, very interesting thing for him to, step into this division now with having that name under his belt. Because if you think about it in a similar way, JDM's biggest name was also Gilbert Burns. I want to say Bilal was also, his biggest name was Gilbert Burns. Something like that. Gilbert Burns was kind of that, or is kind of that gatekeeper. I'm not sure what's going to happen to him now, but he was getting put up against all these beasts within the division and were giving them really, really good fights. So now that Michael Morales has someone like that on his resume, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how he continues to move into this division because it's stacked. This division is stacked. It was Bilal. Crazy stuff. So we've got JDM. Islam is now also coming into the picture. We've got Usman and Buckley coming up. Shout out Buckley because he is a fighter that I always forget about, but I've remembered him this time. He is at the top of the mind because I always forget about him. Ian Gary was there over the weekend at 315 to be the backup fighter, so he's in the conversation. Shavkat Rakhmonov, a lot of people believe that he was the number 1 contender, but now it's a bit iffy because he's injured. He's not going to fight again. He's going to be a bit of a iffy champ if he does get that shot and win because the guy doesn't really fight. So that'll be an interesting one. Carlos Prates now has had a loss within the UFC, so that's a pretty interesting one too. And Bilal, Leon, very, very juicy stuff. I think I'd love to see Morales against a Leon Edwards. That'd be really fun. I'm just thinking now, it's just, yeah, this is the division of interest. Sean Brady too. My God, the list is endless, but just wanted to talk about how exciting this division seems to be. And I think I said in my last video, it finally feels like this division is one that's keeping things interesting within the organization. I think for a long time, and kind of still, like, fans waiting for announcements can be a bit of a drainer. But now that we've had the International Fight Week announcement, we've had the Khamzat and Dricus announcement, and now you can just see how stacked welterweight is. It really does feel like things are starting to build that momentum again, leading into summer, which is always a good time to be a UFC fan. Again, you all know, I plan on going to International Fight Week. Hopefully I head over to Asia. Road to UFC starts this week. So hopefully I can make it to wherever the final may be. I'm hoping that's going to be a China situation. May Perth or Australia get a fight night or a pay-per-view. Things are like building momentum here, and I'm really excited for it. So yeah, let me know. Leave in the comments who is your favorite welterweight fighter right now and who you think their next fight should be and who you think their toughest fight should be. That's an interesting one because, again, so many names. I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Yeah, this is a bit of a random yap, but not really leading up to a fight night or anything like that. But it was just on my mind, so I wanted to talk about it. Thank you for tuning in. Love my YouTube fam. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I'll see you in the next Yapathon.